Super cool, and I think that leads on us great into the next and our first power panel discussion. So I would like all of the panelists to come and join Josh on stage to really kick things off, which is a topic that I would love to find out more about, is how do we enhance operational efficiency with such great technical advancements? So on to the first panel discussion, please. And I think, Josh, you're going to introduce everyone. I think this is your panel discussion. Oh, okay. I wasn't made aware of that one. Surprise, no, I'm joking. Come on in, guys.
I'll take this first. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Some really interesting talks, and where we were going to start today was the modern check-in, but I think we've probably had a great example of that today, so we're going to talk about where we are and bring it back to people a little bit. But beforehand, my name's Scott Turner. I'm the founder of AUDEN Hospitality. We work with hotels to help with food and beverage, concept development, and looking at operational efficiency as well. And if we start with Peter, if you just want to explain yourself, we'll come back down the panel towards me.
Yeah, hi, morning everybody. Peter Bradley, Director of Food and Beverage at the Westin London City. We opened on the 1st of November 2021.
I'm Ramona, I'm Director of Rooms Operations for AXIOM Hospitality. We are a hotel management company, and actually we are 4 years old as of this week.
Hi, Mark Gallagher. I'm Area General Manager for the UK for DORSETT Hospitality, a Hong Kong-based hotel company with hotels across the world.
Good morning, I'm Emily Coubrough. I work at ROSEWOOD London, which is very close, and I'm Director of Front of House. You may all have heard as well, the group at the moment is really exciting. We've also got Chancery that will be opening soon, so yeah, delighted to be here.
They didn't give me a microphone. I know made that mistake before. Hi everyone, so James Lemon, I'm from Stripe, a global payments infrastructure company, and I lead the kind of hospitality and travel practice. Good to be here.
I think we're keeping the mic with you actually, James, because we're going to talk about, first of all, we're going to talk about check-in. And when we met as a panel, we were talking about how Stripe in particular is working with a lot of hotel groups in terms of the modern check-in and what it looks like today. So how is it evolving, and how is Stripe particular helping with that? And what are some of the things that our audience today could capitalize on in terms of what you've been doing?
Yeah, no, thanks. So I think most of the kind of marketeers and digital folk in the room would probably agree the guest experience really starts at kind of search and booking. So we spend so much time, effort and money getting people to our website and kind of getting them to be ready to check out. We've noticed about 70% of people who stick a trip in their basket, abandon it. And there are hundreds of little micro optimizations you can make to your checkout to make sure that won't happen, and that's what we obsess about. 3 of them I think every hotel should start with now is, one is just having a kind of wallet functionality, like just being able to check out with Apple Pay and Google Pay. 2 would be thinking about the local payment methods of your key target markets. So people from France might be used to using carte bancaire, people from Singapore might be using GrabPay. Having a checkout that responds to a payment method they know and trust and are familiar with. And then the last one, which I know can be a little bit controversial, but I think most travel brands now should be moving to some kind of installment payments as well. Like, we know household budgets are stretched and ADRs have risen. So I think you're seeing certainly the big OTAs introducing things like Klarna, which I know is more of a credit product, but actually just having something to help them spread the cost before their stay over 2 or 3 payments. We know that can drive conversion by 30-40% and basket size by kind of 50-60%. So there's loads of great stuff I think we should be doing in the checkout, kind of on the website. And then when it comes to actually checking in, I think people haven't really realized that the the button you press at checkout is really closely connected to the experience you then have at the hotel. And I think we continue to put paperwork and credit card processing in the way of that hospitality arrival experience. So I don't think you have to kind of go the full Numa and make it all prepaid, but that's definitely an option. But I think you should have a front desk experience where, you know, payments is much more automated. It's you know, removed as a thing the guest needs to think about. You know, you can just charge the card that they put in on the website without forcing them to get, you know, IDs and cards out again. It's not an easy one. I know there's lots of debate in the hotel industry about how to do that, but it's something we're solving for, you know, the Accors, the Marriotts, the, you know, hundreds of hotel chains. So anyway, so that was quite a long one.
No, for sure. And I think some of the things that you picked out there is that frictionless kind of check-in and frictionless process, which definitely, as I was watching the Numa presentation, it came up a lot. Mark, you're obviously working across different segments in the sector. What does check-in look like for you? And I know certainly in the hotels that you're looking at opening at the minute in London, that's playing a big part, isn't it? That frictionless check-in.
Yeah, I absolutely. I think you know, our take on, I guess, the modern traveller check-in these days is all about choice. And it's really pushing tech out there that enhances their, you know, the choice of how they want to check in, how quickly they want to check in, what kind of mood they're in when they arrive. As we all know, we can get some grumpy guests arriving after a really bad journey. So it's giving them that choice and opportunity to check in how they like and stay how they like. Is one of our mantras. But being an Asian-owned hotel company, tech plays a big part in that. We have everything from check-in robots. So the robots that you've seen down here, we have a check-in version of that is fully integrated with Opera Cloud. They give them names in the hotels that we've deployed. And I think Dennis in Wan Chai in Hong Kong has even been mentioned on TripAdvisor, which is a really great thing. So people really embrace it. And so they really embrace that side of the tech. But we also want to give those people who don't want that sort of faceless interaction, you know, that we still continue to do sort of online check-in. We have also kiosks, you know, standardized kiosks that we can, that people can check in, but also give them that interaction that they want with the front desk if they want it. If they want it to be fast, then we have online check-in facilities. They can check in, and we use pre-arrival emails for that. We use WhatsApp messaging. In Asia, for instance, a lot of the transaction stuff is done on WeChat, so you can actually check in and pay on WeChat, which is really clever. So we use it to really enhance that first impression and as people check in. But we don't forget that everybody's the same. Modern travelers like tech, but we have some traditional travellers of a certain age, maybe a bit like me, that still want that interaction. And also, I think, you know, we're an owner-operator hotel company, so we have to be very strategic with our capital. And tech costs money, as everybody knows. It's a fairly big investment. So we have to be a bit more strategic. And if I can give you a couple of examples of that. So we opened a brand new hotel in Melbourne, and we have a hotel in the Gold Coast in Australia. Two very different demographics, two very different business mix and segmentation, where Melbourne is much more corporate orientated. So we put 2 robots in Melbourne to reduce the queues on a Monday and a Tuesday and a Wednesday arrivals. And the uptake, I just spoke to the GM there the other day, and the uptake's now up to 35% of our corporate business is now checking in through the robots, which is terrific. But then in the Gold Coast, where it's all leisure orientated, people want that interaction and they want the experience of talking to the things. And we will be the same in the UK, where Shepherd's Bush, our hotel in Shepherd's Bush, is very transient. We have 25% of our inventory gone to airlines, so we don't feel it's strategic to put robots or kiosks in there because it's such a churn of guests. But then our new hotel in Canary Wharf, which will open in January, touch wood, is going to be 75% corporate, right? So we'll put robots in there and hopefully reduce those queues that we talked about earlier. So we use it very much like a hybrid to really hit the guest their preference.
And that's really interesting. Coming to Emily, from a luxury perspective, obviously guests, and it's widely known now that guests are looking for a more personalised experience. So back to what Mark was saying, some people may want it, some people don't. How are you evolving the check-in process in the luxury space?
Yeah, so I fully agree with what Mark was saying regarding, you have so many different clients and everything wants things immediately. So they want it fast, but equally you've also got the traditional guests who perhaps really enjoy that personalised service, the time taken at check-in. So it's all about meeting the different expectations of the client. So whilst we don't have robots at Rosewood, we do have an online check-in system, and you can really see the impact that has. And I think, again, my previous property that I was working at, the Savoy, they did it there as well. And just having the ability for the guest when they're on the go to be able to do the pre-check-in, nothing needed in terms of when you arrive, you don't need to sign the registration form. Everything is done pre-arrival, and it just makes it so much smoother. And it also allows the opportunity for the associates to spend quality time with the guest, understanding what they're here for, building a relationship with the guest, and just removing the kind of, the less exciting elements of their role in terms of all of the paperwork. It also, of course, has a great impact on cost saving because there's less need to print paper in the front of house areas. So you can really see the benefits of the online check-in experience. We also have a messaging platform, which we brought in last year, and that was a fantastic addition because again, it gives the opportunity for the guests when they're on the go to message us. And going to your point, Mark, as well, of course, in Asia, they're all using WeChat, so we're also looking at incorporating that. And it just really allows the associates as well the chance to kind of eliminate all of the really time-consuming tasks with the paperwork, all of the answering of the phones and everything, because it's automatic. And it allows the guest the chance to not have to constantly ring us. They can just send us a message on WhatsApp, and it immediately comes through to the team. If it's a concierge-related element, that'll go directly to them as well. So it kind of cuts out the middleman. So yeah, it's really exciting, and I think, we've got more things in the pipeline. I'm not going to give anything away because I know raffles are sitting here as well. But no, it's a really exciting time, and it's all about listening to meeting the different guest expectations. We have at Rosewood a lot of corporate guests, a lot of leisure guests, a lot of groups that come in. So we really need to look at how we can meet all of those different demands. And the great addition of these kind of pre-arrival online check-in systems is that it allows the team to really focus on the interaction, which is why they all want to work in hospitality, is the people element. So another benefit of it is that you can see the impacts that these systems have on the associate engagement, in terms of the online reviews. We've seen ever since we implemented some of these systems that the positive comments that have come through for the associates, because they love being able to spend time with the guest. I mean, that's why we're all in hospitality now. It's certainly why I am. Yeah, so it's really exciting.
And I think that's one of the key things about tech in terms of guest experience that I've found is it should enable that guest interaction to be more common in hotels where there's process and there's bits that go on the back, and I think that's really key. And Ramona, coming to housekeeping, traditionally behind locked doors and in corridors, you've got a pretty impressive case study that you can share in terms of how using tech can help the guest experience, and I'd love you to share some of that with the audience.
Of course, so we know there is an increased need for seamless communication between departments. We need a quick and efficient way to transfer all the information that we get from applications, from WeChat, from different channels to the departments that are responsible for delivering the service. And these solutions exist. Obviously, we know about the housekeeping automatization systems. They've been there for quite some time. They're continuously evolving. And I've done some intensive research into finding the right solution to put in our hotels. I've chosen one of these solutions and I've implemented in a few of our properties, and we've seen some really good benefits. Of course, improved communication was one of them, but there were some efficiencies and in terms of productivity, from reducing the tedious tasks of task assignment in the morning and increasing the time we spend on floors checking these rooms and providing a better service and a better standard of cleanliness for our customers, but also being able to really go into detail and analyze how much time we spend into the rooms, cleaning them in terms of, depending on the status of the room, a stay over a departure, or the size of the room or the type of the room. And we were able to see some really good efficiencies, in terms of the productivity, but also then we were able to spend this time in other areas. But these solutions offer varied benefits. So you can use them for guest requests, you can use them for tracking lost property and automizing this as well, rather than having someone running around trying to find it in a book or finding the lost property in a cupboard hidden somewhere. They support with the maintenance tasks, so you can record all of the issues that happen in the rooms, or PPMs and so on. We all know all of the tasks that we require to deliver the service to our customers. So they are extremely efficient, and they support and bring everything together. And I think my suggestion is, when we are looking into implementing these type of solutions in our hotels, we really need to do our research to make sure that it adds to it. We keep talking about it when we talk about robotics, and doesn't take away, doesn't involve more uploading of reports into certain systems, but making sure that this is fully seamless, interfaced, and it does it automatic for you.
Yeah, and I think along with the operational efficiency and the guest experience, obviously that must have had a knock-on effect commercially, and with margins becoming tighter. What's some of the impact that implementing some of these systems had, not only on guest experience but on the bottom line as well?
Yeah, so of course, like with everything else, there is initial investment. The investment refers to the solution itself, to the devices that you purchase. So there will be phone devices, iPads, whatever you like to choose, some IT-related costs, and then depending on the PMS system that you have, the interface costs. However, the initial investment that we put in, we were able to have a return on investment in the first 4 months. And in the first year, for a property that has 202 bedrooms, we were able to save £80,000 in terms of payroll costs. So it's extremely beneficial all-rounder.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And at AUDEN, we're about to bring out a report on F&B. And in that report, there was a stat from the American Lodging Association that said now, globally, food and beverage is driving 65% of booking decisions. So no pressure, Peter. But certainly in the independent sector, there's been lots of stats around how tech, QR codes, pay at table, has a big impact on average check, on order uptake. What have you done at Westin in terms of this, and what's some of the successes that you've seen?
We've converted it to 95% of revenue for the hotel. I wish. No, so I agree with my fellow colleagues on the panel. We're trying to hit every mark, aren't we? We're trying to please the guest who wants a quick check-in, who wants a fast service. We're trying to please the guest who wants a more relaxed, more refined experience as well. So being a franchised property, we have access to the Marriott systems. So we have mobile check-in, we have the Bonvoy app as well, and we have access to guest experience platforms. So I think very similar to what everybody else has said as well. And they're all fantastic. Now, when you do check in, I'd say cheekily, probably one of the areas where a guest might be expecting a bit more of an experience would be in the bars and restaurants. That's where you want to relax, you engage with others, you treat others, you spend your own money in a lot of cases as well, and you want to have a really good value for money experience, whilst also feeling quite taken care of. But if there's one aspect of the F&B element in a hotel whereby you can really use technology to drive revenue, it's actually through the in-room dining experience, because it's not necessarily in the restaurant sometimes. Most of the time you could be by yourself as well, you could be traveling. So I was at a conference in Barcelona earlier this year when my eyes were opened up to the joys of the mobile dining platform. Now, I shan't tell you what vendor it is because there's many vendors out there, but obviously each hotel group will use its own vendor as well. In order to implement, it took 2.5 weeks, extremely quick. Everything was pretty much done through the Micros Oracle system, and it only cost about $1,000 to implement, with a running cost of about $100 every 3 months. Extremely quick to implement, absolutely zero glitches whatsoever. The beauty of it is you can sit in your hotel room and you can quite literally either open up the Bonvoy app or go to a QR code where it's linked to a microsite, put in your order, go have a shower maybe, come back, revisit your order, add on a glass of wine because you've had a time to think about it, add on your notes, etc., and then send it. Your order goes automatically to the kitchen, goes automatically to the restaurant or an in-room dining department. The beauty of the system as well is you don't need a dedicated in-room dining department to run it, because you can also run it through the restaurant as well. So you don't need a separate department for this. It increases efficiency. It increases streamlining experience for the guest as well. And we're not at the stage yet whereby, we deliver in-room dining to the rooms with, dancing robots singing happy birthday at you. We're not there just yet. But you also get the interactive part when the waiter comes to your bedroom, how's your day, etc., what else can I do for you? So you're getting the efficiency of the online piece or the tech piece, whilst also still maintaining that element of guest experience interaction as well. Cost us $1,000 to implement. So far versus budget, in-room dining revenue for both food and beverage is up 16%, average check is up 19%.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. We did a very similar project at a country club out in Surrey. They have an outdoor pool area. It goes to 300 swimming pool beds in the summer, and we put QR coding in there. Order uptake was 80% up year on year. An average check... Oh, there we go. Sorry, Siri. Let's turn him off. But yeah, and the order uptake was, it was about 26% up. Sorry, the order uptake was 80% up. The average check was 26% up as well. So it really does show that the stats are out there. And James, coming to you, I guess whenever we're in independent restaurants now and we're on some of these QR code ordering and pay at table, Stripe seems to be the one that's powering the payments. What are you seeing from your side? I guess there's probably some good statistics that you can share with people to back up some of this as well.
I think the best statistics have been shared. So I think these are great. Look, I'm no surprise when done well. I'm really bullish on kind of QR codes and digital ordering. I think we've all had the kind of the dark ages straight after COVID where you'd scan it and it was basically just like a printed out version of the menu. There's no way to actually order. You're pinching to zoom in. And I think now, each country really has a leading app where you go, actually, really easy to upload your menu, and you can just kind of you can choose to just pay as you go, which I think is really crucial if it's your own money, or of course, all the integrations are there to kind of add it to your bill. So what I've noticed is that the big brands are really, they're largely ignoring the space. Their obsession is obviously driving rooms revenue. So I think it does come down to innovative F&B managers and GMs to go, well, what's the right one for my market that my guests might be familiar with? What's really nice about that is that, Marriott's in, Australia can pick a completely different app to those in Singapore or in London. What we can help them do, most QR providers use Stripe on the back end, so we can give them that single platform of going, right, here's how all of your hotels are performing. We can give them a single commercial contract, because ultimately your payment data is actually just customer data. So really starting to understand across the estate, what's selling well, what kind of guest segments are upselling. So for me, that's the big piece really is I think everyone now should have a QR code app, lots of new purchase moments. You mentioned at pool, I think in room, in bar. I think it just reduces that stress on the team as well. But for me, the big opportunity that we can untap now is guest data. Actually, what's that really telling us about those incremental ancillary purchases? So yeah, I think really bullish for the future of digital ordering as an option, right? I think it doesn't remove that human touch, but if you just want one more drink or you don't want to talk to anyone right now, I think it's a great option to have.
Yeah, for sure. And Peter, is there anything you're working on in the future when it comes to F&B in terms of how tech can help guest experience, or is it just getting that QR code into the rooms, consolidating and seeing where those learnings take you next?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we want to keep it more experiential, but we are working on integrations between OpenTable and Micros in terms of understanding more our guest platform, where we can make enhancements to get guests back, more targeted offers and so forth. As well, working on the PDQ system, working on getting in things like connected to Micros with Elevon and so forth. So these are things that can pre-arrival, post-stay, and also during the experience itself can actually help streamline the process, but you're still keeping the key interaction piece, which I think is going to be even more key moving forward. In The Guardian, I think it was on Sunday, James Tapper wrote a great article about the luxury hotel business in London and how it needs to, yes, it's experiential, but how they really need to now start thinking about how to make it even more experiential through people interaction, not just technology. And keeping that at the forefront of our mind, remembering that this is a people business, designed by people, driven by people, experienced by people. I think technology has got a great use. Like we said at the beginning of the platform, it's got a great use in terms of creating efficiencies and streamlining processes, but let's never forget that interaction with guests is the #1 reason why we're all here.
Yeah, it's a really good message to keep in back of mind. And Emily, coming to you, when we were talking before today, we were actually talking about how technology and getting rid of some of those menial tasks that we spoke about earlier has helped with retention, has helped with employee satisfaction scores and things like that. Can you just talk a bit more about what you've seen with your team?
Yeah, so as I was saying earlier, I think that with the implementation of any online check-in, you can see the impact that it has on the scores in terms of guest reviews, because the guest experience is much better. Not only that they have that quick prompt service that we were speaking about, and that also goes back to the messaging platform, but it also allows the associate the chance to focus on the guest and meeting their expectations. We also are very focused, having this system put in place, it allows the team the opportunity to focus on the pre-arrival in terms of personalizing the experience for them. So again, I don't want to give too much away about what we're doing, but we do have a system in place where it obtains the guest kind of overview of why they're coming into London, any kind of celebration they're experiencing, and that is then used to tailor the guest experience. We'll make sure that we have one associate who is dedicated to that individual, and by incorporating this technology, it has allowed us more time to focus on each individual guest. I also just want to go back to QR codes, and I think, to your point, James, the QR codes are great because they give that immediate, the opportunity for the guest to immediately contact us, but you do also want that personalized element. So in my view, I feel that whilst you want a few QR codes, I think that we initially brought in this, especially after COVID, and that was a great opportunity as well for us coming back into hospitality. But you never want too many of them because the guest also wants that personal interaction that you were mentioning about, Peter. So yeah, it's really exciting, but again, it's about having that balance of technology and the people element.
Yeah, and I think, Peter, over to your point on that, I think that's where, when you're talking about the Bonvoy app, how you can consolidate all those communications and touch points is key, isn't it? So we don't overwhelm guests with lots of different options to speak to us.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. It's all held in a centralized area. You have generally per shift 1 maximum 2 people responding to guests and their requests. Plus also you have the benefit of checking in, 24 hours early. Yes, I'd like an anti-slip bath mat. Yes, I'd like this and that in the bedroom. And it's there for you on arrival. You never have to ask again. And if you want to have the full service front desk experience, fantastic. If you don't, use your mobile check-in, get your mobile key, and off to your room you go. So it's a great system.
Mark, in terms of employee satisfaction, retention, I guess some of these tech elements that takes away those tasks, how's it affected Dorset and what you're doing?
I think I'll go back to what I said at the beginning. We use it to really enhance this service and also assist our team members. I think all of us probably in the room suffered quite badly after COVID from a lack of experience. A lot of experience left the industry. It's starting to level out now because we've had the opportunity to train staff, but we've also had the opportunity to implement some tech around that to support the staff, and that has really helped with retention, especially in our hotels, where retention when I started 2 years ago was really bad. It was way up in the double digits, and we've brought that back down through consistent training around customer service, but also implementing tech to assist the staff and support them and be able to deliver a much more personalised service, which is what they really come on board to do. And if they've got tech that supports that and helps them and assists, then it's a real advantage.
Yeah, and Ramona, same question over to you.
So I think we talk about technology a lot, and I think that if we are able to use technology to support our sustainability missions as well, I think we're on to a winner. So we talk about technology being brought in as increasing customer satisfaction or productivity, efficiencies, and so on, but I think we need to touch base on the sustainability elements as well. And then in terms of that, in all the areas of the hotels, we talked about, reception and reduce printing or in F&B, but also decreasing energy costs or, supporting in terms of the housekeeping department that we were talking about earlier. I think, using chemical-free cleaning, which again has been around for quite some time, but it's not been fully embraced, and it's still developing, and it's slowly starting to emerge again. I think then we are on to a winner.
And last question, James, I'll come to you on this one. In terms of the payment space, in terms of hospitality, what Stripe are working on in the product development, what's the next trends? What are some of the things that the audience need to be thinking about? I heard something, I think it was at 7 Rooms conversation around open banking is going to become a lot more common and things like that. What are you seeing from your side?
Yeah, definitely. So I think I get the fun job of just traveling the world and going, look, payments is incredibly strategic for this industry, and it's, the payment experience is so closely linked to the guest experience. So for me, the key pillars are, if you're a brand that's trying to drive more direct bookings, and that's been a consistent theme in this industry, there are so many more payment types now that you need to have in that checkout with a partner like Stripe. So we will see a rise of open banking, but I think that'll take time to have the right guarantees and kind of customer familiarity. For now, it is more those local payment methods, wallets, and kind of installment payments. I think there's tons of opportunities to drive new revenues, and I think we talked about just remove a lot of those admin tasks behind the scenes. So for me, we're really lucky. Hundreds of thousands of hotels, most of the brands in this room I expect have Stripe accounts, and that might be because you use 7 Rooms or OpenTable or a QR code app or a groups and meetings product. So we want to continue to help hotels create all those digital experiences linked obviously to kind of simple real-time payments. But what we also hear from hotels is that that's great, but we're also sitting on legacy tech stacks. So we're spending a lot of time doing 2 things. One is, we have nearly 100 integrations into all of the tech in this industry that you'd ever need, so that your systems can talk to each other and share guest data. But we also have made Stripe a little bit more modular than perhaps it was. So if you just want to use us on the back end for fraud, or if you go, actually, we're not going to switch out our credit card provider, but could you just give us Apple Pay, or could you just give us, WeChat Pay? So that's our kind of focus now. We want to work with the biggest, most innovative hotel chains in the world. We know that's we need to take the heavy lifting of doing that integration, helping them see the benefits, helping them turn that payments data into customer data, really.
Amazing. And I think that's it for time. So I'd like to thank all the panelists for joining me. I'm not sure if there's any questions or if we've got time for questions, but happy to take some if we do.
Thank you very much. That was great. And I love the fact, Emily, that you can, especially coming from your sector in the, super luxurious, that you would digitalize in part of the guest journey. I think that's really important to break down that stigma. So we spoke quite a bit about understanding personalization and being able to segment and offer different experiences to the different guest needs, and making sure technology evolves with that. What do you think the future will look like in terms of offering the digitalized guest journey to me as a guest who comes to stay at your hotel as a corporate guest Monday to Thursday, and then my family come and join me? What do you think the evolution is going to look like over the next 2 years in kind of that cross hybrid of a guest wearing multiple hats during one stay?
So I think going back to my point that, with so many different clients coming in, we need to make sure that we meet all of their expectations. So we are definitely incorporating technology at Rosewood, but we really want to keep that personalized element. So it's super exciting that we've now got this pre-arrival check-in system in place. And as mentioned, it allows the team to then focus on you as the guest. I think going to corporate guests as well, we know that a lot of them just want to get in, they don't necessarily want to talk to anyone, and they'll go to their meeting and then they'll depart. So again, this is why technology is so important that we have it. But equally, being a luxury hotel, we want to also make sure that we do meet the demands of other guests, changing expectations. So we can also see the impact that it has with families. They're also using this platform, but equally with families, we then want to be able to focus on their needs, and having the people element, the human interaction, being able to have the time. So we're in a really exciting time now with all of this evolving technology, but we equally, as I said, want to find that balance of ensuring that we don't take away from, other elements of the guest experience. And the rewards that you can see, as I said, with all of the engagement from the team, it's really, really positive.
Where am I going? Sorry. Thank you. My question, one side, when we are looking the operational efficiency through the technology, the other side might be this is creating some fear inside the staff, because when the technology is evolving, it's taking more jobs. So sometimes the people are thinking, so if the companies, they're taking more technologies, more things, so maybe we can lose our jobs.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very good question. I think the way that we apply it is what I said in the beginning. We use it to support we support the associates, but also enhance the guest journey. So we we implement it as a enhancement rather than something that's going to replace somebody's job. I think there will be occasions, no doubt about it, and I'm sure you'll agree. You know, we're putting there's a big influx of robots into housekeeping and back of house areas, just as we've seen in the airports, etc., for cleaning corridors and banqueting suites and all of that sort of stuff, and that will drive efficiency. I would hope that nobody loses their job over it. They will just be deployed elsewhere, but that's the way that we interpret it, and I think probably everybody's the same.
Just to add on that, I think we all can recognize that recruitment has been extremely difficult in the hospitality industry, and the teams see this as well. You know, they've been struggling to deliver the service, being overly stretched. So adding technology and adding the robotic side will be exciting for them as well, because they will be able to have that additional support and not be so stretched and take those manual, tedious tasks and put them in the hands of a robot, you know, clearing tables, and so they can sit and have that conversation with the customer and build that relationship. So I think overall it comes as a huge support for the hospitality industry, where at the moment recruitment is a huge concern.